trained graphic designers. Most of us are either learning or biology that can use other platforms, but you still have to know certain design rules when you're creating design. And the first thing you have to think about is that you're not designing for yourself, you're designing for somebody. Today, we'll be looking at understanding your colors and understanding your fonts and how to use them. So know the basics: brand clarity, audience clarity, rules of font, and rules of color. So basically, I'm just saying that we are not creating for ourselves, we are creating for others. In order to create for others, there are basic things that we must learn and we must think about. What are these basic things? We'll look at them. Why do we need to have brand clarity and audience clarity? I will explain that, but I will not really talk about that because you should know that by now, if you started DIY branding or the content marathon, and if you watched the video, I asked you to watch it last week, and people are dropping off the call. Another thing is we'll look at rules of colors and rules of font. When you're designing, what you're trying to do is this: you're creating something that will stop someone from scrolling. There are sometimes you see some posts and some things on social media that you can't just help to share. You're not designing to keep it under your pillow. You are creating for somebody else to view it, to click it, to make a comment, to share. And if it's Instagram, we are looking at reach. So think about this. When you're creating a design, don't put too much pressure on yourself. We are keeping it simple. Well, you are not creating for yourself. You are creating for somebody else to make the person stop scrolling. You're creating so that the person will click and pay attention to what you're saying, make a comment, share, and reach. But you also want the person to understand what you are actually creating for. Create it, you're not creating for yourself, but create something that someone will love. And this is something we talked about when it comes to content creation. It also applies here. We said it's for your audience. You must know who you're creating for. You must have a clear message. You're thinking about how it will make you grow. Create something that is memorable, entertaining, shareable, interesting, and on brand. And that part of on brand is where we are focusing on today. Knowing the design basics, what do? We design content to pass a message across to a specific person. So when you are creating, don't create for all the teachers, create for a specific teacher, for example. Don't create for all the parents, no, so create for a specific parent with a specific parent in mind. You have to ensure that the message you want to pass is very clear. So if you want to talk to them about train up your child in the way they should go, that is your message: train your child. That content you are creating, that graphic you are creating is serving one rule, one message. It's not sending 20 different messages. There's one central thing, and I will explain how to get that. You have to be consistent with your aesthetics. That means your colors, your fonts, your patterns, voice, tone, language. We'll talk about colors and fonts. Patterns, for me, when I create, the patterns and the symbols I use in my designs are scrolls and quills. That's a feather with like a pen. That's for my own brand. I sent Anita something the other day, and I said these are the patterns we're going to be using for a specific brand. You have to know what patterns you are adding or removing from your design. If you understand who you're creating for, if your person is a football lover, there are symbols and things you can put in there that will make the person want to look at your post. When we talk about tone and voice, you will see that in the marathon, but I will just explain it. If you're talking to an introvert, it's different from the way you talk to an extrovert. If you're talking to a teacher, it's different from the way you talk to a pastor, but you will use the same tone of voice completely throughout your content creation. The language you use is either simple or complicated. So you could use academic words, you could use jargons, you could use slangs, you could use Gen Z words. Think about the language and who you're committing to communicating with. We design something worth sharing, saving, and viewing. We do not design for ourselves, but the target audience. I don't want to hear, I don't like orange, I don't like red, I don't like this. It's not about you. Color psychology is important. It's about the person you are creating for. So when you are creating, think about this: who am I creating for? Who is that person that I am trying to speak to? And then create with that person in mind. Why we need these rules? The principles of, this should say the principles of design are the rules a designer must follow to create effective and attractive composition. You want to create something that is effective, attractive, and consistency is what makes that happen. The only way we can be consistent is if we have like a communication manual and a document which you people are going to be creating as we go along that would help you understand why you are using certain things, that would help you remember, oh, this is the font I'm using. So you don't have to start guessing. So you will be creating the communication manual, or what we call a brand print, for a specific client. The visual brand print, we have the document brand print, and we have the visual brand print. So I think those will be two names. The visual one is the one we do on Canva that is as pictures, as everything. We will get to show you examples, but basically it ensures you have consistency across the board. I'm going to pause here and see if anybody has questions. And if there are no questions, I'll ask questions. Does anybody have questions about these so far? Especially these 5 points. Is there anything about these 5 points that you don't understand? Why is there radio silence? It's too early in the morning for this. Is there anything about these 5 points that you don't understand? When I say voice, tone, and language, what does that mean, Toyin? Vincent Aibatoye Boni, what is voice, tone, and language? Gloria, you muted yourself. All right, you go first.
Ma, how do we know the font
Don't
or
worry,
color
we're
we are
going to get there. We will tell you. For now, we are going to tell you the fonts, the colors, and everything that you're going to use. Or we're going to guide you to create it. So you'll be given what we call a brand, and then you will create from there. All right, Tony. Yeah. When I say voice, tone, and language, what does that mean?
So voice, tone, and language, you explain that you need to understand the person your audience that you're communicating with, and you have to use the same voice tone if you're communicating with a teacher, a pastor, and know how you communicate with them.
And I'll add one more thing. You are not communicating as yourself, you're communicating as the brand. So that's where brand clarity and audience clarity comes in. You have to watch those videos on the marathon. There are certain things that I want people to watch in advance so that when we come in together, we are not answering questions. We're not teaching, we are just answering questions that you may have already, and we are walking, so we hit the floor running. All right, so we've talked about fonts. Now, someone said, how do you know the fonts to use? You'll be given fonts to use. You'll be given 4 different types of fonts for each brand. So let's start with the second point. Know the difference between the fonts. You'll be given a display font, an Eda font, a body font, and the last one will be an handwritten script or calligraphic font. For the display fonts, that is like the one I use for and sometimes you can use fonts in the same family. For example, I'm going to show you this thing. You may have a font that has bold, that has still, but you'll be told the font already to use, so you don't need to think about that. But your display font is a very bold font that somebody can read with ease. So you'll be told that one. I like using that one for the main points of a flyer. And the simplest way to look at it is the cover in a carousel. It just grabs your attention. Then there's an heading font. So this is an example of an header font here, where we have this. This is an header font. So this is just an heading. Then this other font that has know the difference between the fonts is what we call a body font. So that one you can use it for quotes, you can use it for things, but you think about the readability. Less is more. How can people use it? The last font is your handwritten, your script, and your calligraphic font. On no condition should you use this to write a quote or more than a line. It's not readable for what we are trying to achieve. We are trying to get people to come and pay attention to what we are saying. So when you are giving your handwritten font, your script font, or your calligraphic font, please do not use it to write a quote. I wrote it here. I said, do not use it for quotes or headings. It is used for emphasis. Limit your use of handwritten typefaces. It is seldom that you find a large box of text in this style. Think about it. When you are reading a book, if I change this font, now you can read this. If I change this font here.
Sorry, I have a question.
Sure.
Yes, this after the body font, this handwriting / script / calligraphic font.
Yes.
Yeah, how do you know where they come
No,
in?
I will explain. You will use your initiative most of the time, or you use it for emphasis. So now, if you look at how do you know where it comes in? Don't use it for body. Don't use it for header. Now you can see that. Can you read? Can anybody try and read what I wrote here with the handwritten font? Is it as easy as the other ones?
It's not easy.
Exactly, because it's not readable. Because this is the first time I'm going through this with anybody. We are looking at readability. You want people to be able to read what you've written. So once we use the handwritten font, it's not readable. So you think about this. Sometimes I create my own rules as I go. You can do that with time. But the rule of thumb is, for example, if you're writing a quote that says, train up a child in the way they should, you can decide to put should go in handwritten font. You can decide to put one sentence. You can decide to put one word and make it very bold. So you'll be able to play with your design and decide what parts you're using. The safest bet for you to do now is, for example, if you're writing a quote by someone, just write the person's name, the author's name in handwritten font. That's the safest way to do it for now. And as you design more, you will get better at deciding where it should go. But do not use a lot of it. Use it just to place emphasis. If you want someone to pay attention to a word in what you are saying, put it there. So this person will know this is what I want people to pay attention to. It will grab people's attention. It will not distract them. This is distracting. Without my glasses, I can't read it. I know what is there, but without my glasses, I cannot read it. So handwritten fonts, please do not use for quotes, do not use for more than one line. Use it only for emphasis. And if you, I don't know, last week I asked you guys to start doing the design school. I don't know if anybody started that, but we're going to talk about that later. If you're using the design school, they give you tips. That's why I say don't be overconfident that you can already do designs. The aim is to be 10 times better today than you were yesterday. So even if you already do good design, still practice. Go to grab the Canva design school. They talk to you about how to do all these things. So remember, we're going to give you 4 fonts: your display font, your header font, your body font, and your handwritten font. And I will just escape again and explain something. There are sometimes that some fonts come in different ways. So for example, let's look at this Sarah Bold. There's Sarah Bold, there's Sarah Black, there's Sarah Light, there's Sarah Medium. So sometimes when we are giving you fonts, we may use the same family, but different levels of it. So depending on what you want to place emphasis on, you can now use something like that. So sometimes we can say the black is the display, the Sarah is the header, and the light and the medium are the body. So you can interchange between light and medium if you want someone to place emphasis on something. So for example, with this one, I can decide that, okay, this is light, but I want to do something else that will bring something out and make that part medium. You are allowed to. But just remember that when you're using italics and handwritten fonts, we don't use it so often. We use it sparingly so that people can read it. You are not creating to just say, oh, I've done 20 designs today. You are creating to make sure people read what you have put out there. Any other questions about this, about fonts? So we're not going to have issues with people's designs and fonts again. Are we? Any questions about fonts? All right.
No.
Okay. Now let's talk about your layout for your design. I want people to either, when you get this document, scan, anytime you see a QR code, scan it. The QR code is this code on the left. Scan it, or there may be a link for you to click. This will lead you to a blog post where you're going to get further reading on this topic. But I'm just going to do, or the meeting will be over by 10. I just want to do something simple for you people. I've done a summary, but these are the 7 points. You have to go back and read it. And the first thing is, when you are creating design, think about what you want to place emphasis on. Determine what you want people to focus on by having an outline. So don't just come and say, I want to create a design. The reason we say we do our research, then we do our outline before we do our design. If you watch the video, I said I don't just sit down and do design. I actually plan first. I have what I call an outline. And this is because I want to know what I want someone to place emphasis on. And I move things around, go back and come back to it, because I want my design to be something that is balanced and has alignment. This applies for websites also, Bolaji. Every design should have balance and alignment. When designing a composition, make sure that there's a balance in the elements by considering the weight and placement of every single thing you're doing. Also, you think about contrast. Contrast can be effectively achieved with 2 strong fonts or even 1 strong typeface in different weights, like I explained before. As you add your fonts, you dilute the purpose of your design. So don't go and add a font that has not been given to you for your brand, because every font that you're using for a brand that you're assigned to is predetermined. We have gone into the brand psychology and we've looked at what we need. Don't say, oh, it's repetitive. Yes, it's repetitive. It's intentionally repetitive because we want to ensure that people understand your brand identity. Think about it. When you see Coca-Cola, you already know it's Coke. When you see Pepsi, you know it's Pepsi. When you see red, you know it's Coke. When you see red and blue, you know it's Pepsi. You've already been trained to see it that way because of repetition. Repetition makes people remember you. You want to ensure there's repetition in your design. You want to ensure there's repetition in your brand and there's consistency across all boards. Remember that brand, we looked at their website, ESPA. We said, oh, their website was fantastic. But when we went to their social media page, it wasn't as fantastic as the website. And the conclusion we reached was that they were not consistent. There was no repetition of what they had on their website, on their social media platforms. Also, another thing you have to think about in design is your proportion and size. And this simply means that the visual size and weight of the elements that you add into your design. Like I said, the blog post is here. You'll be able to read it and or scan this thing or click the link and you'll be led to that post. Simply put, every single thing you put into the design serves a purpose. If you put a camera in, you want to ensure that it's doing the right work, that it is just translating what you want everybody to interpret. You have to think about movement. You don't want a situation where your design is dead on arrival. People just see it and they scroll past. It's understanding that every single element is meant to capture someone's attention. When I lay my eyes on this design, I should see X, Y, Z. If you want me to see the jar of the celery sauce, then that's where you will put my eyes. But if you put other elements that are bigger, it's going to affect my concentration and I'll pay attention to something else, not what you want me to pay attention. And we'll talk about white space in more details. And I think someone else does. I want people to do your own research on white space and design, because you're going to be doing a lot of research and they're going to be submitting tasks. Now, we've got how many people in this class today? So when you read this blog post, I'm going to give you an assignment. Emphasis, balance, alignment, contrast, repetition, proportion, movement, and white space. Bolaji, you're going to talk about white space. You're the graphic designer and the person that has the most skill when it comes to websites. I want you to talk about white space to us, not today. When we meet next time, you're going to talk to us about white space. Why is white space important in design? Why are movements important? And for movements, Tonye, you're going to talk to us about movements. Perez, you're going to talk to us about proportion. Gloria, you're going to talk to us about the importance of repetition. For contrast, I have contrast, alignment, balance, and emphasis. Comfort, please write the names I'm saying down. I'm not sure I'll remember everything. Who haven't I assigned? I said Bolaji, white space, movement, Perez, proportion, no, movement, Tony, proportion, Perez, Gloria, repetition, contrast, alignment, balance, and emphasis. Who else do we have on the call? We'll divide that into 4 people. The blog post is there. Scan that if I am you now, and you'll be able to see it, and you'll be able to do your own further research. So when you come and explain to the class, you'll be able to explain what each of these things are saying. So we've got 4 more things up there. Balance and alignment come together. I separated them because I was talking about aligning. This is another thing I see in design. When you're creating designs, please do not align to the right. Always align to the left, and don't justify. I will explain what I mean in a few seconds. Now, this layout design, only for emphasis purpose will I do it this way. Or this way is, unless it's you're a fantastic designer, this is distracting. Always align to the left. When you're doing designs, as much as possible, avoid what I did here, having one word hanging on its own. So I've said 2 things. Align to the left, avoid one word hangers because it distracts people. For the remaining ones, please distribute them amongst people and then let me know who gets what. And you guys are going to, it's
okay. So sorry, we have Anita, Light, Chinonso.
All right, Chinonso, contrast. Anita, emphasis. Light, balance, and alignment. You're going to have 5 minutes when we meet next time, not tomorrow, to talk about this thing. Or we'll do it in the evening sessions. But I want you people to understand design because I realize that, and for those that your names were not mentioned, your names are coming up. Everybody's going to get something. Everybody's going to get something to do because I think that's the only way we are going to get things done. Any questions about this, or we should move on? Now, when you're designing, you're going to follow the 60-30 rule, 60-30-10 rule. For Canva, as much as possible, I want your background color to only be specific colors that we will let you know. And the specific colors I have for you are black, white, gray, and ivory. Any other color is too distracting unless you are a very good graphic designer. We are accidental designers, so we are sticking to 4 colors for our background color. And that's 60% of your design is either going to be black, white, ivory, gray, and I think there'll be another color, but we will go to that page. Then your secondary and your accent color. Your accent color is a color that is just bringing attention to something. So you don't want to use your accent color. Tony, that's why I told you not to start using the other designs. You don't want to use your accent color as your background color because it's not going to draw anybody's attention. Think about it. If you go to a website and the whole website is red, it's a bit distracting. So your accent colors are used for call to action, your buttons, if you want people to sign up, where you want people's attention to go. Every other thing is just being built up on a background, on a foundation. So your background color, please. This is another Canva rule. This video has to be watched by everybody on the team. So those that are not in this class today, please ask them to watch it. It has to be white, gray, ivory, one of those colors. Then you have your 30, which is your main color, and then your accent color. So I said that the 60-30 rule, what is the 60-30-10 rule? It's an interior decoration rule that helps you create your color palette. It said there should be a dominant color that is calming and neutral. Then 30% should be the secondary color or texture. And the last 10% should be an accent color. So for Abaya, our accent color is gold. But because it's a winter brand, we will use a color that I did not mention as your background color, which I don't really want you to use unless I tell you that your brand needs it, and that is black. So your 60-30-10 rule is a classic decor rule. Think about interior decoration. You go into a room with a calm wall, gray, white, ivory, cream. Those colors are calming, and you'll be giving color codes for your brand. So you're not going to make assumptions. You're going to be giving color codes for your brand. Think about this. Less is more. You're looking at balancing different design assets. So you want to tone down everything that will distract people and demands extra focus. Something that would just be like overwhelming, but you want people to be relaxed when they come on your page. So having those bright colors as the background colors do not work. And when it comes for fonts, think about readability. Consider larger letter sizes. We're going to do a training on carousel post, how to create a carousel post. Don't just put so much into your post that nobody wants to read it. Think about the fact that when you're scrolling, you don't want to be reading tiny fonts. Readability is important. You can put some of the details in the caption. You don't need to put every single thing into that design. Conclusion. Consistency simplifies the design process. You need to have an outline. Know the purpose of the design. If the purpose of the design is to create brand awareness, you already know that's what you're trying to do. Design with one person in mind. Follow the 60-30-10 rule. Remember to use your white space. Bolaji will talk to us about white space. Allow your design to breathe. Let it be not be like your design is choking. Within these two designs, this is more readable and breathing, and there's a lot of white space. This is less readable, but it's still not overcrowded. Think about that. This is what I want you to do. Now you're going to start creating designs daily, because I've said you guys should watch the Canva classes and I'm not getting any feedback from you. So I have decided to bring in some rules. Rule number 1, go to your Canva design school. Do your design every day. You're going to send in a design or 2 designs at least. So you're going to practice a specific video, and then you're going to send in that design. So I want to see what you practice. Oh, I practiced video 1. This is what I created. I practiced video 2. This is what I created. We're going to start with 1 design for practice. Then we're going to take it up a notch. 1 design a day. I want everybody to practice every single day. You have till between 10 p.m. and 12 to send me that video. 10 p.m. and 12 midnight to send that video to restorativeunlocking@gmail.com, or you're going to send it to the group. We're going to do that. It's compulsory. We are not even joking about this anymore. Your color, your background rule, remember 60-30-10. These are extra posts that you can read and watch, videos you can watch. And it talks about the design rules you should not break. So comfort, Elsie, you're going to do the 10 graphic rules you should not break. Anybody else that's not gotten anything is going to talk to us about the 10 graphic rules you should not break. And these are the videos again. I've put them separately. Scan to watch or click to watch, scan to read the blog post, scan to read the blog post. Now, we're going to move forward. I said I want people to watch the videos before I come and teach. So you're going to have time to watch the videos. Like I said, this is a marathon. We've been crawling. We're taking sprints now. We are starting to increase our pace. Content tends to be rather fluid and could be anything from short videos for your Snapchat profile to full research reports on your blog. So when you are watching the content generation video in the marathon thing, I want you to have this in mind. I want you to remember that content will not create itself. You're going to create the content. We're going to do a training on how to create content that converts based on you watching that video. You're going to watch the video and send the assignment by Thursday midnight for those that are Thursday midnight. You're sending the video, you know the email address. You're sending your assignment to that email address at Restorative Unlocking to your system and send in the assignment. The content generation as a specific assignment. If you're on the DIY branding video, you will see it. Most people already have a brand that has been assigned to them. So that's fantastic. To simplify it, what I have done is I have said, okay, we're going to have people in groups for this assignment. And we're going to have a couple of groups. We'll talk about the groups for future assignments when it comes to watching videos. I want a situation where people learn to work together. Comfort and I will break this town group. I have abbreviated them because we're streaming. We're going to know who is what, doing what, and you're going to receive an email with the group that you have been assigned to work on group projects. So when you're watching the videos, you're working with as a team on, you're working individually on the project, and over for the whole of September, you're working as a group on specific projects. And that's it from me. Any questions? I have 7 minutes more. Any questions? All right, so everybody understood everything.
I have a question.
Yes, what's your question?
But then it's from the beginning. Because when you said it's part of the rules for Canva that when creating a design, you should have it in folders. But then I don't know how to do that.
Okay,
like, to add the design to a particular folder.
Okay. When you are uploading images, you are adding to folders. When you are creating a design, you are creating a design with that brand name and the month in the design. So for example, remember, you are always given templates when you start Canva. Remember, we always do that. So you will go to all your designs after you've uploaded and you want to create something. So for example, if I want to create for September, I will write September. So I'm just going to put the brand name, September 2021. That makes it easy for me to plan all my 100 posts for the month or more on this page. So if you've been given a template already, you're going to go to folders and go to all your designs. Then the specific template you've been given, you go to that template and then you pick your design. Now let's talk about this design and see the pros and cons of this design. Now, this used a color that is close to what we said, which is the neutral color or the gray or the ivory. Ivory is like cream. This used the orange. I don't want to see this. This is an accent color. This is not your main color. So this is an accent color where you can see whatever the mind of a man can conceive and believe it can achieve. Conceive and believe, use your accent color. So this is following the 60-30 rule. This is not following the 60-30-10 rule because number one, can you read the white part? You can't really read it. And when you're using your fonts, you're allowed to use black. Black may have been more readable for this brand. And then transparency, all these things you will find out as you design more and as you watch the design videos. That's why we're starting with design and not content creation. So do you understand? So first of all, you're taking from your templates. For now, take from your templates that have been assigned to you. Don't reinvent the wheel. Take from your templates that have been assigned to you. Don't reinvent the wheel until you have gotten to understand that brand very well and your graphic skills have improved. So we're not designing the wheel, but we can say, okay, if I tell you to create something with a light box, for example, you can say, oh, I want to use this. I can just simply do this and take it, then edit what I want to edit on it. Be kind, be real, be free. So you can also go to templates and take templates to use. write what you want, then take the templates. However, you can see these things may not go with the brand. So any element that doesn't go with the brand, you take it out. So if this was a masculine brand, that doesn't help. So be kind, be fair, be real. Okay, fine. This is saying something. Then I will go to elements and maybe I just add a picture of anything else at the background. And I can use that I will show you people keywords that you can use. So I just said, let me pick what I called a flat lay. A flat lay is just something like this. So this shows what we were saying, but that picture contains the light box, so it has gone off. So you're like, okay, maybe I should get another light box instead. And then I click on light box blank. And then I have light box. So you learn how to do designs and all these things I'm saying if you, number one, practice. And I'm going to send you a couple of Instagram videos also that other people have done that you will be able to use to create your own designs. Any questions? So you will be able to arrange this in the way you want it to be. Reduce the font, move things around, take this out and do your flat lay if you want to use that light box still. When it comes to your colors, you are given color codes. So if you go sign into Canva, under this place called styles, there are different color codes already. So you just pick the one that is for your brand and use it. You pick the one that is for your brand and use those colors. So you'll be able to do that. So if you want to change this to your color, you just come here and pick and use what you want to use. Any other questions? Any other questions?